Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 15172 Southeast Spanish Bay Drive here in Happy Valley. We are located at the front of the house, checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. And I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. So we are to the left of the front doorway. We're almost more to the left of the walkway than the doorway. Got a 4-inch ABS cleanout. This cleanout is situated extraordinarily far away from the house. Normally these are within 12 to 16 inches of the foundation. We're about 20 feet from the house right now. It is exposed currently. It's close enough to the surface that I would at least take a mental notice to where it is in the event landscaping ever covers it. These are very tricky to hunt down if they get buried without having an interior access point to run a camera through to locate. Not that that can't be done in some manner, just inconvenient. Anyway, water's running, we are zeroed out, and off we go. And luckily, it is a two-way clean out. Nothing's more frustrating than getting a clean out like this and being directional, and that happens a lot. All right, swapping over to 4-inch 3034 PVC. Superbly clean sewer line. There's essentially zero grease buildup in the line, which is nice to see. That's how you want your line to look. And makes your line much more forgiving under abusive scenarios. When improper items like wipes, paper towels, things of that nature go down the line, or when your kid flushes 14 balls of toilet paper down the pipe at once, grease buildup is a major contributing factor to a lot of blockages that result in backups. Blockages happen more often than you would think, assuming you're using stuff like toilet paper, proper items. Head pressure, in a lot of cases, will break them loose without even realizing they happened. So that's why you want to keep your line clean. That grease acts like glue and allows stuff to stick that otherwise would not, and or blockages that might break loose after 3 to 5 feet of pipe fill up behind them can withstand significantly more head pressure before busting loose. So it's a very good maintenance item. It's about the only thing you can do as a homeowner to actually maintain flow. So keep your any of your pans that have enough grease or oil on them. If you turn that pan sideways, there's enough on there that it runs off the pan in beads or worse. So at that point, you want to do something about it. Either pour it into a glass jar or metal can, something that won't melt, or let it cool down, wipe it out with a paper towel, or scrape it off into a garbage can once it's cooled. Thin little coatings of PAM spray, stuff like that, not a huge deal. It's the bulk going down the line at one time is where that stuff gets you. So anyway, this is a really good example of a household that is doing exactly that. We're going to go locate really quick here while the pipe drains off, then we'll pull back in here, and then we'll also run the camera backwards toward the house. All right, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southeast Spanish Bay Drive, and the line here runs essentially dead straight all the way to the main. If you draw an imaginary line straight out to the road, gets just beyond the midline of the road there and hits the main. And just a teeny little bit of standing water there right before the main lateral connection. That is so minor, it's not even going on my report. Got a 6-inch piece of pipe there with a 1/16 of an inch or so of water. And as a reference for standing water, after I've done over 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career, where I just start to consider repairs on bellies, especially in plastic pipe that has nice smooth pipe walls, is at least a 5-foot section of pipe with an inch or more of standing water. At the inch mark is where I start to consider it. Very rarely do I recommend a repair on a belly like that, unless it is under the house, right up next to it. A belly like I just described there requires a lot of doing on the homeowner's side to actually result in the blockage, even at a 5-foot section with an inch of water. Generally speaking, a belly like that I recommend repairs on is when you have the coupling effect of standing water and old rough pipe materials like cast iron concrete. Those rough pipe walls coupled with the water slowing things down, that's a different animal entirely. Now, everything from the clean out access to the main lateral connection is in great shape, superbly clean, very good flow. We're now heading back towards the home right now. Right now my camera is kind of situated upside down. Those little tiny things you see at the bottom of the screen there, that's the top of the pipe. Those are little glue drips. And they're inconsequential at that size. Those will flop and flap out of the way. They're up at the top of the pipe to begin with. Glue drips can become an issue, but they have to be quite thick in order to do anything and also be in the flow line. Alright, that's where the line starts necking down to a sink drain there. That's as far as we're going to go back in. Actually, you know what? Bear with me here. So when I first glanced at that, see if I can jump this. And visually at first there, I thought we were in a sink. Actually, the line just necked down the 3-inch pipe there. Now, once enough fixtures have converged together, larger homes, you get 4-inch pipe. Once you go over a certain amount of bathrooms and fixtures, you got to bump to 4-inch. That's why you have the size difference. Up until that point where the 4-inch starts, you just simply don't need it by code. And I'm going as far back in here in this case. I normally don't do much scoping of crawl space pipe. In this case, it is under a slab foundation, the stuff that you can't look at unless you have a camera. We should be reaching the back end of the line here in just a sec. Yep, here's where it goes vertical. That's where the line goes upstairs. That's going to be the end of the line there. We've actually got more pipe on the interior here than you do on the outside. That's usually not the case. Alright, we're going to go ahead and reel the camera out of the line. Fantastic flow, end to end. Spotless clean line, essentially. That little bits of stuff you see right there, that's a little bit of paper product. It's toilet paper scraps. Nothing related to like true buildup, grease, stuff like that. And if you keep your cooking oil and bacon grease and that fats in general out of the kitchen sink drain, you can keep the line looking just like this indefinitely. Now, sewer line is functioning properly at this time. So it's kind of just a general idea, the way the line's routed. Where we just went up, that vertical there is kind of near the back right part of the house. So the line flows from right to left, and then it pops out here, out the front of the home, to the left of the doorway and walkway. Kind of underneath that window there. Anyway, really nice looking sewer line there.